Hello, the Libran clan, and welcome to your June 2020 reading. And we're going to do things a little different this month. We're going to keep the cards to a gentle 4-card spread that kind of works us through week by week. And I think this is useful because June is a powerful month. I always think of June as an extremely magical month, no matter which hemisphere you're in, because it is the month of the solstice. It is a month of the evolution of the sun, and not only that, but this June we have 2 eclipses that are somewhat visible. Let's see. The first eclipse is the full moon in Sagittarius lunar eclipse. It's a pre-number lunar eclipse that's happening June 5th and 6th. It's only slightly visible because the moon isn't going to be fully blocked out here. And that's going to be faintly visible over a lot of parts of Europe, Africa, and Asia. So quite a wide swath, but not a visual stunner. However, the energetics of that always help us, right, to revolutionize and shift gears. And this is happening as we are getting used to the south node of the moon in Sagittarius, so really powerful. We also have the solar eclipse happening on June 21st, right around that solstice point, that's visible from parts of Asia and Africa. So that's going to be a really powerful new moon eclipse happening in Cancer. So the energy is big this month. Let's just put it like that. This is big energy this month. Lots of things are shifting around. We are saying hello to a completely new way of doing things. I mean, we're also going to be heading into the second half of Venus retrograde and closing that out. And as many of you know, we're doing an amazing journey over on Patreon there where we're checking in and doing the extra exercises and exploring, and I have lots of worksheets and resources over there. So if you're looking to dive a little deeper with Venus retrograde, I'd highly recommend go check that out. But this is a month of shift and change and skin shedding and getting familiar and acquainted with a new version of yourself. Now, the full moon eclipse is happening in Sagittarius, a very fun-loving sign associated with you Librans and your communication. And then the new moon in Cancer has everything to do with how you move through the world. Now, I have a really simple message for you all that came up when I fell through June, which is this: it's never too late. And there's always an unknown source of help or elucidation or clarification, 4 of Cups, around the corner that you cannot see yet. And that is 100% the case because, you know, we always assume the things that have already happened in our lives. We look back and we say, well, obviously that thing showed up and it was there and that's how my life worked, obviously. But the past version of yourself, before that job came into your life, that person came into your life, or that idea came into your life, you had no idea. You didn't know that it was there, and you were probably having questions about what that was going to look like. The Fool. Yes, I love it. And this month is asking you to kind of lean into that logic system, that there's always something around the corner. Now, here's the fun part of that, right? It's that, yes, there's something around the corner. You can't always see it. 6 of Swords. But the shortcut to welcoming in that thing around the corner, or that next wave, is not to hyper-focus on what you don't have, which is this thing around the corner you can't see, but to be really hyper-present in what you can see right now, right? And to list down, quite literally list down what it is. Queen of Cups. Those are your 4 cards, my friends. We will talk through this. What it is that you know and you can see and you can confirm and affirm in the present moment. I actually really love the exercise of, you look around and a lot of times we have this monologue in our mind that says, well, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what this means, and I don't know what this means. And that's not always true. I often find that's not actually the case. We do have a lot of knowing. You can look at, okay, what is this relationship teaching me? I bet you can write down very wisely and very succinctly the 2 or 3 things it's teaching you. You can look around at an environment that's either working for you or not and tell me directly, this is what's great. This is what I would shift. And I think this month is a great place for you Librans to do that practice kind of regularly, every week, every day if you want. It's a great journaling practice. I'd highly recommend that. There's a lot of energy moving into places in your life that is going to ask you to open up. One of the big things is that we're going to start a really big, powerful journey with Mars and Aries. Mars is going to be moving through Aries for quite a while here, and then is going to be doing a retrograde later this year and going back through Aries. And Mars is at home in Aries. This is also highlighting that partnership aspect of your life and how you connect and relate. And this month heralds the beginning of that process. Not only that, but we have the north node of the moon in Gemini. We have this Venus retrograde happening in Gemini. And we have a lot of energy moving through there the first part of June, which is a fellow air sign that is all about your worldview and how you want to be moving through the world. So this is a huge revision time. And this is a huge time of shedding a skin, I think, in many ways for Librans. And when I look at the cards that came out for each week, progressively as we move through this month and as we get closer to the solstice and the energy of that shift point, I feel like solstice energy is such a shift. Every time it's a doorway, no matter which solstice you're in, of that shift. So the beginning of the month, we have this reflective energy. I didn't even mention, but we do also have a Mercury retrograde beginning in Cancer, in your fellow cardinal sign. And that's happening on June 18th. So as we close out the Venus retrograde, we're going to begin the Mercury retrograde, because what is life without a couple eclipses, a couple fun personal planet retrogrades, and also Jupiter and Pluto hanging out together in Capricorn? What can be better than that? So this is a powerful month, and this is exactly the message that I have, which is that there's always an unknown source of help around the corner. The 4 of Cups is a nod to that, right? That you can almost feel the fuzzy outline and shape of it. You can't quite see it, but you can feel it. It's around you, and you have no idea how to put that on paper or put that into action or know what to do with it. And I think sometimes we get a little distracted by this thing we don't know yet, that we forget to kind of look at what we do know, what we do have to work with. And it's really interesting as we continue to affirm what it is that we can see in front of us. Weirdly enough, what happens is we are able to see what's in our peripheral and what is on its way to us at the same time. I think it's in the Gospel of Thomas, there's this whole verse that goes, there is nothing hidden that cannot be uncovered. I can't remember the exact thing, and is this exact logic. And this is what the 4 of Cups is telling me for you all. The more you pay attention to what is right here, the more you kind of notice all the information you already have, the more quickly this Fool energy is coming in to open up a new cycle, a new beginning. But you got to trust yourself a little bit. You got to trust that you are changing. And that, with these eclipses and with this energy starting to just peel away the things that feel like we have to do them or we're supposed to do them, and stepping into a more kind, loving, authentic, relaxed version of ourselves and getting to be who we really are. This is such a time to lean into this soft, beautiful energy and to lean into this elucidation. Now, this is clarity on something that maybe you have felt a lack of clarity on for a long time. Maybe the last few months have felt like a back and forth, a seesaw, or a kind of washing back and forth energy that hasn't felt very clear, hasn't felt very safe, hasn't felt very supportive. Maybe that has been something that's come up for you. And the Fool does bring with it kind of this understanding that you agree to move forward and that you agree to take a step on a path, even if it's unfamiliar but exciting. Now, by the time we get to this third week in the month, we will have done a lot. We will have shifted into Cancerian season. We will be having the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere. Neptune is going to go retrograde, and we also have this Mercury retrograde beginning. A lot happening right there. A lot happening right there. The 18th through the 25th of the month is going to be a powerful time, and I'm seeing this right now here with you all. The Six of Swords is about leaving behind an old shore and not looking over your shoulder. In fact, what's really interesting is the Fool and the Six of Swords have characters and have energy that is, there is no looking back. There's no going over and over and over the past and why it's hurt you and why that's your mythology and why it's painful. There's only this choice to move forward. And so there's this asking here for you that, if you have had pain or you felt like you couldn't accomplish something, or you were told that you had to be a certain way, or maybe you told yourself you had to be a certain way, this energy this month is inviting you to explore this next shoreline, knowing that our past does not define us here today. It just doesn't. We are often trained that it does, that our past is in fact everything that makes us who we choose to be today. And that's only partially true. It's only minimally true, because if our past was dictating who we were today, who we were when we were 15 and, we were going through whatever we were going through at 15 and how we handled stress and how it's completely different for most of us, even, 3 or 4 years later. We're not the same being that we were. And this is asking you to completely step into who you are now. And actually what's really interesting is an emotively deep feeling energy here. So not only is this getting activated in you, what this is telling me as well is that this watery intuitive energy is asking you to show up at the table of deep connection, deep love, deep trust, deep feeling, to feel your feelings fully, and to allow others to feel their feelings, and to sit at the table together and to let this Cancerian energy wash over you. It's also telling me, Cancerian energy is a really important part of the year and the process, and for you all, with it tied to what you do in the world, this is a reminder that when we move through the world, no matter what it is that we do in the world, we create in the world, we build in the world, we have to start from this space of that loving, trusting, watery, intuitive self-trust before anything that we do on the outside feels powerful or illuminating. This is also telling me there's a lot of emotional healing this month, and there's a lot of reconciliation, a lot of peacemaking, and a lot of nurturing. And I think that's so important, because if you're going to be moving forward in life, feeling nurtured, feeling held is a huge part of that process. So yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm loving what I'm seeing for the Librans, and this month is going to be powerful. Just know that we are going to be riding on waves of emotion. It's like seagulls floating across the sky, because we've got all this Gemini energy, we've got all this Cancerian energy, and it is just concocting this huge soup of powerful change. I have a solstice blessing I want to send your way as we go into this amazing tipping point in the solar year, in the traveling of the sun. This is one of my favorite times of year for tapping into who we really get to be. And here we go. May you feel the love emanating out of you so clearly that the path always appears illuminated. May love and joy move through each of the little moments in the routine. May partnership and connection be a source of ease and healing. May you trust yourself deeply. I'm sending you all so much love for a beautiful, powerful, magic-filled, evolutionarily transformative month. Cheers. And that's just water, by the way, because that's how I roll. It's just... Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful June. Like I said, if you want to join me for the solar eclipse activations and our big discussions over there, I think I want to be doing a couple of lives over there as we move through these energies. I would love for you to join us. It's a beautiful little community. We have such a good time. We do weekly discussions about the astrology. I'm doing all this extra Venus retrograde work. I'm sure we're going to be playing with the Mercury retrograde in Cancer and all the other things that are coming up this summer as far as astrology. So I'd love to see you over there. $5 gets you everything that we have there. And I will see you all very soon for more moon magics and for the next month of excitement. Love you all.